A 7 News Digital News Desk update starts now.
And good afternoon, Jeff Cole live here in downtown Watertown at our digital news desk as we get ready for a rally in Sackets Harbor. It is all after that Fed farm visit in the town of Hounsfield, in which Fed officials arrived at that farm looking for a suspected criminal, and finding that criminal, they ended up finding 7 other people labeled as illegal aliens. It was a mother and 3 children that were taken in that and taken away, taken to Texas. Tom Homan telling us earlier this week that they were part of the investigation. Could be witnesses. Maybe there could be something of that they were victimized. There's no proof of that. But with all of that, that's why that they were taken away. People in Sackets Harbor not accepting that as an answer, and they want their children back in the school system. Those 3 kids were part of the Sackets Harbor School District. We are live in Sackets Harbor. Let's go ahead and bring in Garrett Bluesky, and I'm thinking that the communication is okay here, and we're bringing in Garrett. He is there at the Sackets Harbor Visitor Center, and at that moment, this is where it's beginning there in Sackets Harbor, and then it's going to move on from there and go through the village, and expected to go by the house owned by the border czar for the United States, Tom Homan, of course, a North Country native, and has a residence there in Sackets Harbor. Not believed that Tom Homan is in town. But Garrett, let's go ahead and throw it to you, and you can tell us more about what you're seeing and hearing, and how many people are there.
Hey Jeff, right now it seems like there's close to 500 people here. Still some more trickling in as we talk. You can hear a little bit of a cheer going on. Some folks have been talking for the last 5-ish minutes or so. You will see some sheriff's officers, deputies walking through the crowd, keeping an eye on things. Lots of signs, people excited to be here, and lots of chants for people saying, bring them home. A lot of the signs say they're your children, our children. A lot of people talking about how this is a community and there should be no politics here when it comes to this situation. There's some speakers up there going right now. You can hear some more cheers in a second. And as I said, more people are going to be coming in. In a minute, we're going to talk to the principal of Sackets Harbor High School or Central School District about the kids that were taken. Jamie Cook is her name. And we'll be here for the rest of this thing as it goes, and watching what's going on, talking to folks, seeing how this plays out. And for now, then, Jeff, I'll send it back to you for a minute.
Yep, that's good. Garrett, one of the things that was talked about leading up to this, in terms of the people that could be here in Sackets Harbor, that this could kind of go beyond being a local event, that it wouldn't be local people. I mean, you had the NYCLU, you had the New York Immigration Coalition putting out press releases about this event, kind of telling people beyond the North Country that this event was going to happen. Ground zero there in Sackets Harbor, of course, with Tom Homan being in that community, having a residence there. So any indication that there are outside players in this, Garrett?
It's hard to say right now, Jeff, and there's still some more folks coming in as we talk. I was told that there's an idea that there might be a bus of people coming up from New York City area, but that's kind of rumors right now, so it's hard to say what the real story is yet. But it's a lot of folks here right now, and people really concerned about what happened and trying to show their care for this family, this community. So we'll do some talking and see if we can figure out where folks are coming in from, or if it's mostly locals, but I'll let you know that as I learn a little bit more.
And the number of people that you're talking about there, you said roughly 500. They're all spread out in front of the Sackets Harbor Visitor Center, and they'll get mobilized here in a little bit. And Garrett mentioned that he's going to have an interview coming up with the principal at Sackets Harbor. The principal, Jamie Cook, put out a statement earlier today. It's been up on our website all morning long, since 7 o'clock this morning, when I did have a conversation with Jamie Cook. And it talks about how the 3 students were taken and that the family was doing everything right. I'm reading from her statement now. It says, quote, "They had declared themselves to immigration judges, attended court on their assigned dates, and were following the legal process. They were not criminals. They are not criminals." That's what the statement says. And at the end of it, Jamie Cook is quoted as saying, "I have no other agenda. Please release my students and their mother back to our community." And in terms of if that could happen, My interview earlier this week with Tom Homan, as he kind of laid out the way that this all happened and why the family was taken. His words is that they were part of a criminal investigation. Not that they did anything wrong with the criminal aspect of stuff, but perhaps they could help out with the child pornography investigation that was happening at that farm, the Robbins Farm, the North Harbor Dairy Farm on County Route 75 in the town of Hounsfield. So they were taken away. Tom Homan telling us earlier in the week that after the investigation is done and after the questioning is done, it would be up to ICE agents on whether or not if release was going to be an option. It's their lingo, release, right? So he thought that in the last couple of days of the week, Thursday, Friday, that investigation could wrap up, and maybe, he didn't say it, but in a timeline, if you were to lay out the days, there was a possibility we could learn by today if that had happened, if there has been a release. The rally is still going on. The rally said it would cancel if the family was released. So this is still going on, and we're led to believe that there is no decision, or any decision hasn't been made public in terms of the release of those kids along with the mother. So you have this group right now that many of them could be from the downtown Watertown protest rally that was earlier today, and we covered that as well. You'll have to tune in tonight on our digital newscast at 6 o'clock to see more of that. But that downtown Watertown, that rally had a couple hundred people at it, and then it is since dispersed. And so now it's thought that some of those people were going to Sackets Harbor to be part of this rally here today, and you might be seeing some of them within this group. There's supposed to be opposition there as well. There was a lot of talk of other groups that would be part of this to push back from the other side. It's hard from my standpoint. I'm going to go back to Garrett Domblewski here in a second just to ask him if in fact, you're seeing any of the other protesters, and they could be local people, right? I mean, this is a debate that's going to have people on both sides right here in the North Country. It doesn't mean that we got to have people from the outside come in to push back on this, or to have people on that are in favor of what's going on here. You're going to see both sides, or at least the possibility of it, there on the shores of Lake Ontario. So Garrett, any indication that there are people that are, whether they're local or not, that are not necessarily agreeing with the purpose of this rally and pushing back a little bit?
Right now, no pushback, Jeff. There are some people standing on the outskirts. Hard to tell if they're just keeping their distance or if they're not part of this rally. But it's hard to say if anyone's from out of the area or in the area. Right now, peaceful, obviously. You can see people, positive energy right now, are cheering. But it does appear that I saw one shirt with Donald Trump's face on it. That doesn't really tell you anything. But again, right now it's calm. Only real emotion is coming from the crowd in the middle of the rally, where people are still have speakers up there talking, and folks just cheering and letting out that emotion about supporting the family. So right now, all things seem pretty tame as far as you'd expect. Any
indication, Garrett, as to who it is that's talking up there, or what is their message? Are they talking about the school? Are they talking about the national immigration policy? What sort of message is being spoken?
It's a little difficult to hear them talking from where we are, but I'm going to pause and hear what they're saying right now. So if you can't hear them, they're saying, are we going to fight? Fight. Are we going to win? We're going to win. When you fight, you win. That's the chant that's happening now. So it's hard to tell what the message really is, but it's a kind of rallying call. Rallying cries right now.
That's right out of the playbook of Kamala Harris. When we fight, we win. So that's definitely a Democratic message there, a Democrat message that has been used throughout the campaign. So what you're looking at here live in Sackets Harbor,
it appears to be Corey DeSillis that's talking right now.
Okay, Corey DeSillis. Thank you, Garrett, for that. Corey is head of the Jefferson County Democratic Party. And, this is live stuff. You're going to see the camera move around like this. You're going to see the stuff behind the scenes here. So I think Garrett is getting ready to get an interview for us, so I will just kind of continue to narrate here, and we can see the signs. This is good. Les Shockley is running our camera. Les, good job in terms of showing us what is on these signs. Instead of the back of the faces of people, or back of the heads, we're seeing the faces. Return the children, deport Homan is what the one sign there says from the woman there in the crowd. Another one, All children deserve freedom. Resist is another one. If you're looking at this rally, peaceful, there in Sackets Harbor, and it is the gathering of people who is, the people there are looking for the return of the children and the mother taken away from a farm locally last week. It is the immigration debate, and you just saw some, I think they were sheriff's deputies walk by. I saw them at the very last end of it, so I couldn't identify necessarily the uniforms, but a lot of police as well. This is expected to have a lot of things that you're going to see and a lot of things that you're not going to see in terms of security. And it looks like that the speakers are done and the people are going to begin this march. Again, they're at the Sackets Harbor Visitor Center. You're watching WWNY's live coverage of this rally at our digital news desk here. And Garrett Domblewski is live in the field for us. And I know Garrett was going to have the high school principal, not the high school principal, but the school principal there, K through 12, I believe, in Sackets Harbor. Again, Jamie Cook put out a message earlier today. It is on our website. I put it up there after speaking with her at 7 o'clock this morning. And so, Garrett, when you do have that interview, just pop in front of the camera and we'll know to be able to go to you. But right now, we're able to watch as people are going to gather, and this march is going to go from Sackets Harbor Visitor Center and then down to the waterfront. Of course, Sackets Harbor, if you're watching us from outside the region, which is a high possibility here this afternoon, Sackets Harbor right on the shores of Lake Ontario. And Tom Homan, the U.S. Border Czar, does have a home, summer residence, a lake house that as he has described it, along the shores of Lake Ontario. And this group is saying it's going to march past his home and clearly saying that they want it to be peaceful, that they're not going to be trespassing. There's a number for Claudia Tenney to return our family. There's one of the signs that you're seeing there. And, you know, through this, in fact, we haven't heard from Congresswoman Claudia Tenney. We've asked, we've tried to get comment in terms of what's going on in Sackets Harbor after the events at the North Harbor Dairy Farm, but we never heard back. And so that sign right there is a constituent or somebody at least in the district now looking for some information, looking for the Congresswoman to be aware of what's going on. So this crowd, estimated to be in the hundreds, 400 or 500 people, according to Garrett Domblewski, who is live on scene. We're looking at this crowd now kind of gathering and getting ready for this march. And again, I believe Garrett is going to be getting the high school, the principal. It's pre-K through 12 principal. Sackets Harbor, a small school, just one principal. But that principal is expected to do an interview with Garrett, giving more about her statement here today, talking about how the students were taken, you know, quoting from her release, her statement earlier today, quote, "We are in shock, and it is that shared shock that has unified our community in the call for our students' release." So hopefully Garrett is able to get Jamie Cook, but Ms. Cook could be, oh, he does, all right, that's good. I like the thumbs up. This is the way TV's done in the field. We'll have that here. Garrett's going to have that in a moment, but Jamie Cook, being the principal, going to speak with Garrett regarding her participation in this today. Hopefully we can learn more about the kids. And you know, up until this point, she has been quiet in this. I'm not saying she had to speak, but she waited until today, this morning, to put out that release. And in it, it said, principal of the students, I need to speak plainly. And kind of alluding that up to this point that she hasn't, made her voice known in this. Also saying the wait had already been too long a week ago. In her statement. So anxious to hear what she has to say. But again, we're looking at some pictures here as people get ready to join that march, and it's going to go from there in Sackets Harbor at the Visitor Center and go along Lake Ontario, and supposed to be by Tom Homan's house, at least be walking by it. Again, supposed to be peaceful, no trespassing. The Democratic Party, which has helped organize this, very adamant with its postings talking about that this is an event that's supposed to be peaceful. And in fact, I mean, you knew this wasn't going to happen. I do think that a lot of the message to people was to leave your politics at home, that this was about, the children, but you're just not going to get that. This is a debate on immigration and enforcement, and you're just not going to leave politics out of this. And this is sort of, I think, okay to say, ground zero for the immigration debate here today. That was me. Go ahead. There we go. I'm back on. The microphone cords are shorter in the digital news desk than in the TV studio, so that's what happened there. My mic fell off. Again, this seems to be the heart of the debate of immigration for the North Country, if not beyond the North Country. Right? You have people that could be here from outside Syracuse, Utica could be coming up through here. So this event just underway as we had some speakers at the Sackets Harbor Visitor Center, kind of a rally, giving a chant that was fight, and when they fight, they win, and that's what they're looking to do here today, is to give that message. And it looks like that they're heading up over to begin their march as they go closer to the shore of Lake Ontario. Once again, we do have Garrett on scene. Garrett, as you walk along, chat with us more about your estimate, and it looks like we're starting to see more of the crowd now when you put them all together.
Yeah, Jeff, and I was trying to get your attention earlier. I'm having trouble catching up with Jamie Cook. She and I have been kind of playing phone tag here as the crowd's here. You mentioned 400 or 500 people. It's probably closer to 750 people, maybe 1,000. It's grown. You can see really, like you said, as it's laid out, as how many people are here marching. And we're just going to keep kind of walking with them as you go. And Jeff, I'm going to keep trying to get a hold of Jamie and set that up for us. So why don't I send it back to you while I try to get a hold of her again?
Sure. Yeah, Jamie Cook is the principal, and we set it up earlier today that we're able to talk to her here live during this live coverage of the rally in Sackets Harbor. But clearly, she wants to be part of the event as well after sending out that statement that was earlier today. I'll throw a couple of other words here out to you in terms of what that statement said. Again, from Jamie Cook, the principal there at Sackets Harbor. And this is something that she had in there. It said, quote, "They are not criminals. They have no ties to any criminal activity. They are loved in their classrooms. Their family has worked at the nearby Old McDonald's Petting Zoo and Dairy Farm for 15 years. Now, think of that. 15 years is what the principal said that this family has been at that farm. If you go back to what immigration officials have said, when they've taken the 7 people outside of the criminal suspects, so 7 people, they were called by federal agents, quote, illegal aliens. So the principal's saying that this family's been here for 15 years. They lived in a house on the same road as a home ICE had a warrant for, and the fact that ICE went door to door is unfathomable, is what Jamie Cook put in her statement earlier today. And what also caught my attention in her statement was that she said the school had been in direct communication with the students. And she says, let me be clear, they are not being medically evaluated. They are not being questioned as potential victims. And calling a detention center by another name does not change what it is. Really going against what Tom Homan said to us in our interview earlier this week. The U.S. Border Czar from West Carthage and Sackets Harbor resident. In my interview earlier this week, Tom Homan said that they were being questioned as potential victims. No proof of it, but just that they had to kind of go through and check the boxes and make sure they were doing everything they could in an investigation. And he also said that it wasn't a jail, that it was an open-air campus in Texas. So that's what he said. Jamie Cook saying calling a detention center by any other name does not change what it is. So the open-air campus is what Tom Homan called it. Jamie Cook says it's a detention center, and that's her words out of the statement. So, really going against exactly what Tom Homan told us earlier in the week. which is good. We want all viewpoints, right? That's what we want to be able to bring to you. We bring you Tom Homan, we bring you Sackets Harbor, we bring you whomever has their opinion on this. So there's some of the security that you're seeing. Looks like the Sheriff's Department. We tried to talk to the Sheriff's Department leading up to this. The Sheriff did not want to comment for us in terms of security, but we did see them right there, clearly just blocking off a road. So, making it pedestrian only as they make their way, it looks like, to the battlefield is where they're going. Isn't that appropriate in terms of, just the meaning here of what this group is looking to do? Not literally, but they're battling an immigration policy that they don't agree with. And again, that's the crowd that is there. We really haven't seen anyone on the other side of this, right? You have the other side which agrees with what happened, and there, of course, on whether it's social media or in other ways, you're led to believe that perhaps some of that group would be here. I'm not seeing it in this video. If it's there, I want to see it, but we're not seeing that. And if we do, Garrett will tell us more about it, or if we see it here, we'll know it. But this looks like strictly a crowd of 500 or more. Garrett said that that the crowd has grown since the beginning when they were over at the Visitor Center in Sackets Harbor, that this has grown to more of a crowd, and you can see that they're walking to the edge there. It's going to be a road that kind of, you can see it snakes around, and that's a pretty long line of people. If you think of being in Sackets Harbor, and if you've driven this road, that's a lot of people making that walk, and that's a really good perspective there. Les Shockley on our camera. That's really good to be able to show us how many people are involved in this. It was a rainy day. You can see some clear skies on the shores of Lake Ontario. Very few times can it be a bad time to be in Sackets Harbor, and it looks like the rain has let up in terms of the weather here today. It's coming back, but for now, these folks have some decent weather in terms of being able to be there and have a march. Looks like we got Garrett back in front of the camera, and if you don't have Jamie Cook, Garrett, maybe just grab somebody else if they're willing to talk to us, and see what you can get. Take it away.
Yeah, Jeff, I'm here with a family that's out here marching along, and Jake, you said your name was, right? Jay? So, Jay, why did you want to be out here? What do you think is important to be here for?
I think we're all here probably just to send a message to Tom Homan, kind of saying, stand up for what's right. Anybody can be on TV and talk tough and stand behind a policy, but you should really be standing up for what's right. And what's right is bringing these kids home.
What do you make of the crowd here and what you've seen so far? What's your takeaway as we kind of march down the road here?
I'm happy that everybody's being civil and nothing other than that really. Everybody's being friendly, being civil, and we're all here to say bring these kids home.
Jay, thanks for your time.
Thanks. Have a good
Garrett, he has a child with him. Could you just ask him why it's important that he brought? Is it his family that he brought with him? Can he comment on that?
Yeah, well, Jay, my anchor that is hosting this show wants to know, you brought your family here today. Why was it important for you all to be here?
Just like I said before, we're all here. This is my nephew, and he's about the same age as that third grader. I wouldn't want to see my nephew in. Oh.
You can see just how windy it is out here.
Yeah.
That's why he brought his kid, to grab his hat.
They're grabbing his hat. We'll come back to him in a moment.
That's okay. And did he say where he was from, Garrett?
Jay, yeah, that's all right. That's live TV. Yeah. So, Jay, where are you guys from? Are you from North Country? Adams?
Adams, yeah.
Good.
So the wind kind of cut us off a little bit, but you were talking about, you wouldn't want to see your nephew or another kid his age taken away. What was your first reaction when you kind of learned about this story?
it's kind of sad, honestly. You know, I haven't seen kids that, you know, didn't do anything wrong. The only thing that they did wrong was their parents didn't do the right paperwork, I guess, right? So having kids get locked up and put in handcuffs and shipped to Texas, like, they're innocent, you know? That's why we're here. So.
And what do you hope the end game is? What do you hope people that are watching, Tom Homan or the federal government sees this, what do you think they will take out of this, or what do you hope they take out of this?
I think, you know, cases involving kids should be on a case-by-case basis. You know, you shouldn't be locking kids up and shipping them halfway, you know, all the way across the country just because some policy says you need to, you know. Should be standing up for what's right, and what they did isn't right.
Jay, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
See you around. Well, Jeff,
All right.
We'll go back to you, or if you have anything else you want us to look for out here.
No, that's good. If there's somebody else that wants to talk, I'm interested in people, right? And we like to be able to tell people's stories, and you do it well. And if you find someone else that's able to talk to us, that would be awesome. But just kind of gives us a sense. So a gentleman from the Adams area there with his family, again, not necessarily affected directly with the Sackets Harbor community, but here's a guy out of Adams that says, you know, we need to go to Sackets and spend our Saturday with you know, a crowd of 500, 600, 700 people, up to 1,000 perhaps, and this was important, and that he wanted to have his kids there, presumably I believe that was his family, and being able to have them, you know, witness this as well. And you know, growing up, think of times when you've had this opportunity to, in a peaceful way, take part in history. I mean, honestly, this is big for the North Country in terms of what happened here, who it involves, and what the outcome is. And this is right in our backyard, Tom Homan's backyard. This is history for the North Country. And for some of these folks being there, you know, with their kids, those kids are going to remember this maybe in 20 years, whatever the outcome ends up being. But in 20 years, you know, they're going to remember this, because I think this is a once in a lifetime event. I don't want to call it an opportunity. It is more of an event that they're taking part in, right? And showing a younger generation that they can take an active role in the political system. And this one means something. This one has a lot of eyes on it, from us here at 7 News, but clearly beyond here with other news organizations. There's another cameraman right up front there. I don't know who he's with or whatever, but you don't know. Okay, so we have, and our Chad Shred is there as well, but this is being covered by the New York Post. I mean, name them, it's everywhere. I mean, Tom Homan was on Fox News talking about it as well. So again, you're watching our live coverage here, and our signal, not too bad. To be honest with you, when we start getting close to Lake Ontario with our cameras and the way that they bounce off of the cell towers to be able to give us our signal, we get kind of worried about it. And so as I talk about it, you can kind of see how it's getting kind of iffy. And, you know, keep going and keep walking. It looks like Garrett may have somebody else, and hopefully the audio is a little better. We're going to stick with this, even if the picture's kind of lousy for us. It'll come in and out. It's because we're bouncing off of Canadian towers. But Garrett, are you ready? I'll send it to you. Give me a thumbs up if you are.
Actually, he's about to come to us.
Yeah. Good deal. Okay, a little bit of a delay you can see, but Garrett, go ahead, sir.
So, Jeff, we're here with Shannon Welter. She's a teacher at Watertown. And Shannon, you said you think every kid deserves an education, and this was kind of upsetting to learn about what's going on here.
Yeah, it does. All of our students, regardless of where they're from, regardless of their race, their socioeconomic status, deserve an opportunity to get a high-quality education, and that's what New York teachers stand for.
What do you hope the message is today, and who do you hope it goes to?
Well, I think that the message is that the community cares, and that these people are part of the fabric of our community, and we're not going to let things like this happen without some outrage.
And who do you hope hears the message?
I hope that the people that hear the message are the ones that were undecided in the last election, and that the people that are nervous or afraid to send their kids to school know that there is a community of support behind them.
What do you think of the crowd? And I'm just going to switch sides here with you. What do you think of the crowd and the reception so far to what folks are rallying for?
I think the crowd is amazing. I am so proud of the North Country and our community for coming together. Sackets is a really small community, and you have people from 3 counties and even further here today because we believe in bringing these kids home.
Shannon, anything else you'd like to say about this or the kids or what's going on or the rally, anything in general that's on your mind?
I just hope that Claudia Tenney stands up for the North Country. She says that she is our representative, but I have yet to see it.
Thank you, Shannon.
Thank you. Hey, thanks for being here.
So Garrett, if you can find someone else, go for
Jeff,
it.
We'll send it back to you now. It's getting even windier as we're right next to the lake right now. So
Yep.
What was that?
If you find someone else, keep on bringing people's perspectives to us. I'd love to hear that, because we're going to try to follow this all the way through to the house of Tom Homan, or as they walk by, as they go. That the sign that the school teacher there had said, "Keep kids in classrooms, not in jail cells." And clearly, as we're looking to be able, there it is, keep kids in classrooms, not jail cells. And clearly, as the message here was not to make this political. You knew it was going to be. How could it not be? I mean, just that's just, not going to fly. So she called out Claudia Tenney, the representative in the district for Congress, wondering where she is in this and looking for answers from there. And that woman said that it was good to see people from the Tri-County region coming together and doing this in Sackets Harbor. So interesting. It's another person outside of the district with a connection to education, of course. She's a teacher. But another person in the North Country outside of Sackets Harbor deciding to be in Sackets Harbor here on our Saturday afternoon as this crowd, which started probably about a mile away up at the Sackets Harbor Visitor Center in the village, is now walking along the road there right by Lake Ontario. And, usually a quiet community, and these people that live on this road that have these lake houses, this will be the most people they'll see all year long. All at once, probably ever. All at once on this street, all at once, this is the most ever. To have this amount of people all congregated like this in one area. But this is what is happening in Sackets Harbor here this afternoon. Again, you're watching WWNY TV live coverage here on our live stream at WWNYTV.com as we bring you the rally that started again up at Sackets Harbor Visitor Center, and it's expected to go by Tom Homan's house. Lake House. Homan is the U.S. border czar, as that's well known. And again, the crowd estimated to be in the hundreds. Tough to pinpoint that exactly, but with the pictures that our Les Shockley has been able to give us here on his video camera, clearly showing hundreds of people. Could be up to 1,000 people. Wouldn't be surprising. All the way through this, not seeing anybody else on the sidelines who would be pushing back. Also not seeing any other, law enforcement. At least on the side, there aren't crossroads here, so they don't have to limit the traffic. This is a pretty easy route to just shut off the traffic. And within that group, I would imagine that there's probably some you don't see them, but some people that are taking care of security within the group. I would not be surprised if there were some undercover folks walking this route as well, just given the political energy behind all of this. Peaceful, though, all the way here, and that's wonderful to see. And again, people expressing their rights, and Tom Homan told people, express your First Amendment rights, do it. Protest, rally, walk by, and he just asked for it to be peaceful. Garrett Domblewski live along the shores of Lake Ontario, ready to talk to another participant. Garrett, let's go ahead and send it to you.
Yes, Jeff, I've tracked down Jamie Cook, the principal that we said we were going to be talking with. So, Jamie, Jeff's kind of laid out a little bit of the statement that you put out this morning and already mentioned that, but I'll ask you again, why was it important to have this, and what's your kind of message that you want the community and the greater North Country, New York, U.S. community to kind of hear?
I think the Sackets Harbor community has already made their message loud and clear, which is that we want our children back, we want our students back, we want this family reunited with its community. I mean, we're such a small place. We graduate 40 students a year, so we know every face, we know every personality, and we are missing them. The message for the broader community, I think, is that it's so easy to feel disconnected and disempowered and depressed and hopeless, and I know a lot of us have been turning away from media because it's exhausting. And I think what Sackets Harbor shows is that if you rely instead on your community and you remember that your neighbors love you and you remember that your classmates love you and the teachers are going to be there for you, they're always going to stand up and say, I will show up for you, I will rally for you. I think that's how we get through this. And I am optimistic that our students are going to return. We're in communication with ICE daily, and I'm still optimistic. It's wavered day by day, hour by hour, but these last 8 days, I think, have felt like an eternity in our school, and they felt like an eternity in our community. And I just remind people when they're feeling tired to think about how long these 8 days have felt for our third grader who was put in handcuffs and taken away.
You can tell, I mean, we're talking a little bit, but it seems there's some emotion in this for you. What's been the weight of this on the community, on yourself, and obviously you said what it's like for us, but then what it's like for the family that's there. But what kind of quantify that for people?
I think any teacher anywhere in this country can empathize with how we feel right now. I think, I was a school teacher before, and I can say that as a principal, I feel like I've let my students down. In the weeks preceding this, our students were following every step of the legal process. They had already announced themselves to immigration judges, and you feel vulnerable in taking that step. But they had their hearing dates, they were going. And so when they were coming to us concerned, we said, don't worry, they're not coming for you. You're doing exactly what the government is asking. And I think that's where the emotion comes from, because we did not see this coming. And we tell our students we will keep them safe. We tell our students and our community members that we'll keep them safe. And I think that's the promise we're still trying to hold on to.
So I think you said in your statement that you just said you have been in communication with the family. What are they going through from what you've been able to kind of glean from those conversations? What can you tell us about that?
I think that our community is speaking loudly, and I can speak loudly about my own personal beliefs. I think that right now, the trauma that they are facing is bad enough, and they'll speak for themselves when they get back.
We haven't reported it yet, but are you able to tell us the names of the family members,
No.
or is that something?
No, legally we're not allowed to ask students about their immigration status. We're lucky that in such a small community we know a lot more, but no, I cannot identify anything personally identifiable about my students.
And I think that kind of illustrates for a lot of folks at home how kind of delicate the situation is. You guys only have so much you can say. There's only so much that we're told by the feds. So there's a lot of unknowns still out here, but the community knows who these kids and their mother are.
The community knows their names, absolutely. The community knows their names, their teachers and their classmates. And I think you're right that it does strike upon a really delicate balance. Even by speaking to you, I do not speak for the district. I do not speak for the teachers union. I just speak for myself. And I hope that people will continue to speak out and call attention to this, because something happened that should not have happened. And I think all of us in our positions, whatever position you have, I think that you just have to be willing to talk about it. So, I'm a first-year principal. I don't have tenure. These are strange times, but I think you just have to let your conscience be what guides you.
Is there anything else you'd like to say, Jamie?
I think that what's happening in Sackets Harbor is so idyllic in so many ways. I love being a part of this community, and it is because it is so idyllic that I think it is such an excellent example to people who are experiencing this elsewhere. And so I hope that people will remember
We're reaching the end, and everyone's turning around, so you'll see some folks behind us. You were saying, though, Jamie?
I hope that people will remember to rely on their communities, to remember that we're not divided on the very important moral black and white issues like protecting children, and don't give up the fight.
Jeff may have some questions for you, so I'll keep you here. Jeff, anything you'd like to ask to Jamie while we've got her?
First, thank her for joining us. And you got to look at the situation as well, I guess, Garrett. I mean, it has to be very difficult for them not to have the answers. You can just hear the emotion in her voice. How daunting has this been on her and the school community?
So he says, obviously it's been difficult through this situation. How daunting is it for the school community to go through this as well?
Oh my gosh, we have state testing starting day one on Monday morning. I think the disruption is real, and I think that everyone is feeling it. And I think that's what makes it so incredible, that they think it's worth it.
And the crowd's kind of stopping here, Jeff. We're just going to move to the side.
So now we see some people that have
walk past and turn around.
You're seeing some of the pushback here, though, right? So for the first time, and this is what we wanted to see. We wanted to see the balance here, and there are 4 people with a Trump flag on the side. Anything, Garrett? Would they talk to you?
Well, Jeff, I did talk to a group, not these folks that are standing here as we were walking up, who were just kind of watching, taking some videos, and what they had said, and this is not the group you're seeing on camera right now, but what one of them who I spoke with told me was that they just wanted to see what's going on. It's a momentous occasion, what's happening here in Sackets Harbor and across the country, and the one guy that I spoke with just kind of said, he wanted to make sure nothing crazy happens, but also he wanted to be here, and what he told me is that his idea is that, I'm just trying to gather my thoughts. He said due process is happening. That was his stance, that as the child pornography case is investigated and the family is questioned, which we've been told through the other statements that they are not being questioned about that, but his point was that is due process happening, and that once it's been determined that they have nothing to do with that or they have no information on that, that they should be released. And he's here to kind of watch what happened, and just out of curiosity. But that was his kind of 2 cents on the counter argument against the rally. He was not here supporting the rally, he said. But I'll go talk to that group that you saw in the leather jackets and kind of see what their ideas are too.
Sure. And so this is really kind of, as I mentioned, Sackets Harbor being ground zero. I think this is the bullseye of ground zero. This has to be around the end of the rally here, and we're looking at where there is both groups. You have your supporters for the children and the release of the children, and then you have on the side along the road, you have the folks that have their Trump flags and the ones that are pushing back from the other side. And you can see right here, eye to eye, sign to sign. This is the debate happening in Sackets Harbor. As you see, this is the majority of where we're seeing the police officers, the deputies from the Jefferson County Sheriff's Department. And this is where the most people are as they're turning around after walking that route from the Sackets Harbor Visitor Center. This is where the confrontation is, and it's peaceful, right? So I'm not saying it's anything but you have the 2 sides, or 3 or 4 sides, how many you want to say, but you have the mix of people here in this debate about what has happened at a farm in the town of Hounsfield in the Sackets Harbor School District. So you're seeing now we're kind of pulling back, Les Shockley showing us this wider view in terms of where we are here in Sackets Harbor. And again, just a lot of people. Look at the number of people all the way down on that side of the road, and they're all coming back, right? So you're looking at the people coming back. And again, clearly the supporters are outnumbering the people that are there with the Trump flags, right? It's clear that there is a few people up closer, I believe, to where the police are, and I think that's a reason that they're right there, is the fact that you have this area where they're going to be mixing. Okay, there you go. You have all sides represented in that picture right there. And it looks like Garrett's making his way back toward the camera in case he has anything else he does. So Garrett, I think, spoke to the people that were with the Trump flag. So Garrett, interested to hear what they have to say. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I talked to one of the gentlemen there. He wasn't waving a flag, but he had a picture on his shirt that had Donald Trump's face on it, and he said he's here in support of Tom Homan as people march past his home in protest of the kids that were taken. Now, I had to kind of fill him in a little bit on what the information was of what was going on. The man who was arrested for child pornography is not what people here are protesting against. It's the family that was taken, and he said, oh, well, that guy's a bad guy then. But he still says that, you know, Tom Homan is protecting people, and immigrations and customs is making sure that people who are in this country illegally are not here illegally, and that was his point. And so that's kind of what they were saying. And you can see there's a couple more folks up here that are protesting as well. But they're keeping their distance. You know, they're kind of yelling back and forth at each other, but no one's within 4, 5, 6 feet of each other when it comes to the counter-protesters and the folks that are rallying.
The people that are coming back, Garrett, this is just again illustration of just a lot of people that are there in Sackets. What's the police ratio? Is it just the folks that are there with the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office that are visible within this, not the undercovers that are in the crowd?
Well, it's hard to say about the undercovers. I thought they might stand out a little more, but if they're here, they're sticking in, or they're blending in well. There are state police here. They had, you know, not barricades, but they had folks set up at different entrances to the village. They have, you can see the sheriff's vehicles that are down here, you know, it's a decent amount of police here, but they're also, you know, seems everyone's being respectful as you would hope during this, and I haven't seen anything yet that would say there is something to be worried about.
And are they hanging around there, Garrett, or do you think this is going to get done here in the next little bit? It seems like they're kind of hanging in this area.
It's a slowdown as they get up here and they turn around sort of towards the end of the street. And if you know the area, you know it. The road goes up and it bends back around on the lake, and they're kind of getting to that bend in the road and turning around. So as folks turn around, that's where you're seeing this slowdown, and that's where a lot of the folks that are counter-protesting or here mostly quiet, just waving Trump flags or American flags, and folks walking by them are chanting at them and continuing the chants that you've been seeing throughout the march today. So the slowdown is really just as folks get to the end, turn around, and then head back.
So we're live here in Sackets Harbor, and you know, Garrett, I don't know if anyone else there is willing to chat with you, but feel free to grab somebody. But we're probably getting near the end of this as we're live again in Sackets Harbor, just outside the village, as this rally is going on. It is the rally. Go ahead, Garrett. You have something?
Yeah, as you say, we may be getting near the end. We were sort of towards the back of the marchers as we walked up and walked ahead of them as we went. So you are kind of seeing the tail end as folks turn around, and this is probably going to be the end of it, and folks will start heading back towards the village. So you're right, this is sort of the end of the march.
Do the people that have the Trump flags have any signs themselves? I actually believe this is the end right here. Okay. Do the folks that are on the other side, the Trump flags, do they have any signs with them, or is it just the flags that they have?
There are a couple of signs. I think I see 2 or 3. One is a little bit less than what you'd want to air on TV. The 2 that were less is going to show us in a second. You'll see what they say there.
Okay.
Check out predator generators from
We can maybe he'll put that up for us. Stand.
The one says, "Thank you, ICE." One says, "Thank you, ICE, for getting the pedo out of our community." So talking about the arrest that led to the collateral arrests that folks are here protesting. One's a Trump 2024 sign. The other one says, "We stand with Tom Homan on deportation." So those are the ones that I would say we can show you. There's one that I wouldn't show on TV.
Yeah, where are they from, Garrett?
I'll find that out.
Yeah, and on the other side, Les, go the other way, shoot the other way if you would. I think those are going to be the black vehicles, the SUVs. Where are you
guys from? Are you all North?
I think that the black SUVs, these are going to be Homeland Security folks or Fed. Fed cars. So this is clearly something that's here because of the man involved, Tom Homan, being the U.S.'s border czar. That's what those cars, I would guess, maybe state police. But I think it had a New York plate on it. But nonetheless, you're seeing there some of that undercover stuff. But, Tom Homan has said that he has received death threats in Virginia at his home, and he has state police there watching his home. And the speculation, of course, of, okay, if this group was going to be going by Tom Homan's home near Sackets Harbor, what sort of security was going to be there? You can see that's a sheriff vehicle, and maybe that's a sheriff's vehicle as well. They're undercover. Clearly, I'm not able to identify it. But the fact is that some of this mix now, I think, is probably there. You're closer to that end of where the Homan residence is, so you would have probably some federal officials that are at that property. So, and Garrett, did you ever find out where they were from? I was just curious. He may not be able to hear us. He may be too far away from the camera. But things are wrapping up here, and you can see some of the police leaving, and it looks like that mostly all the people are gone. Garrett, go ahead.
Yeah, so Jeff, the family I just spoke with, they're from Carthage. They said they're here to support Tom Homan as well. They said there's actually fewer people than they thought might be here at the rally. As I said, maybe 1,000, might have even been more than that. You saw how big the crowd was and how long the line was. More along the lines of what they were saying is that, they don't really agree with what the folks here are protesting. They wanted to support Tom Homan, and that's really, that was about the extent of what they had to say. So back to you, Jeff, and we're kind of falling behind, so we'll try to catch up if you need anything else.
Yeah, no, I think we're going to be wrapping this up. So Garrett, nicely done. Thank you. Les, keep with the camera, though, if you would, and we'll just wrap this up. But you're watching live coverage of the end of this rally there in Sackets Harbor as people are getting done. It looks like some other camera people there from another network. Curious as to where, how far this is going to be reported, what eyes were on this. So this is the end of it. Interesting that the people from Carthage are there supporting Tom Homan. Tom Homan, of course, a West Carthage native, started his career as a cop there in West Carthage. Just interesting that that's the connection there. But I wanted to learn in terms of where are the people from, because it was thought that some of the Trump supporters would come in from outside of the region. But those folks from Carthage expressing their rights to be able to be there and push back on the other side. And to us, here at Channel 7, that was important to be able to show both sides of this in order to show the magnitude of the group that was there, but still the people that are against the rally, but in support of what's being done by the federal officials. So I'm going to one more time check with Garrett. Do you have something? Beautiful.
Yeah, Jeff, I'm here with Jefferson County Sheriff, and Sheriff, I guess as this kind of wraps up, any thoughts on this? You guys had quite the response to make sure everything went safely. What's your impression, I guess?
At this point, they're still headed back to disperse and get to their vehicles. So far, so good. I'm very pleased at the cooperation from all people that attended this rally, and I can't say enough. We were here solely for the safety and security of all residents of Sackets Harbor, and I'm glad that this is over. People got their message out. And as you saw, I went through the crowd. I knew a lot of people. My main message was thank you for your cooperation. The last thing we needed was any kind of violence down here, and we haven't had that. And I applaud my staff. I applaud the assistance from the Sackets Harbor Police Department, the Parks, Emergency Management, the New York State Police. We have a pretty good team, but to make these events happen, everybody has to work together. And everybody did that today, and I'm very pleased for our community. Messages were sent. I have nothing to do with that. I'm just here to keep the peace, and it was.
What can you tell us about the preparation for something like this? I know a lot of that has to stay kind of within house, but what can you tell us about how many folks were here, how many officers, and what you guys were kind of ready for?
Well, at this point, what I'll do is I won't let you know how many, but we learned awful fast how to prepare for a big event like this. And Now we're going to do a little bit of homework, and we're going to be ready for short-term notice of events like this. Something of this magnitude with this kind of crowd, we usually take 3-4 months to plan. This happened in less than 72 hours. So I'm very pleased that everybody, we got some great law enforcement and community servants here in Jefferson County.
Anything else you'd like to add?
No, right now, like I say, let's get everybody out of here, get everybody home safe, and enjoy the weekend.
And Jeff Cole's back there. I'm going to see if he's got anything he wants to ask you before I let you go, and just give me a second as he relays anything he might want to ask.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Garrett. I mean, I guess just in terms of the detail and the cooperation that had to happen with this detail, this is from the federal agents all the way down. What kind of communication did he have with the feds to work with this?
So he's asking about the cooperation with federal government, federal agencies, and your department and other local departments that went into this. What kind of cooperation is there that you can tell us about?
They basically were here to assist me at a moment's notice. If I wanted to put a call out that I needed somebody in this location or more resources here, that's what they were here for, to help me. And unfortunately, that didn't happen, and I'm very pleased at that.
Can you tell us what agencies were helping out?
Yes. Obviously, the Village of Sackets Harbor, their police department. I want to thank the mayor and his staff. They did a great job. The New York State Police, our great Joe Plummer, our emergency management director, the New York State Park Police, and obviously some other community service. The DPW here for the village, some great Department of Public Works employees. So it was just a culmination of everybody, I think, hoping and praying for cooperation, and that's what we got.
And as for federal presence, is there anything you can tell us about the cooperation with them?
Right now, there wasn't any really here, wasn't any need for that. So this was a local issue, and I'm pleased at that. It remained a local issue, and the locals that attended this were very cooperative. Yeah, thank you.
So A is across the board for your folks back in the sheriff's office?
An A+. An A+ for my folks, absolutely, yes.
All right, thanks, Sheriff.
Thank you very much. All right.
All right, Jeff, we'll send it back to you.
All right, very good. Garrett, thank you very much. And to the sheriff, thank you for taking the time to do that for us. We can probably wrap things up there with Garrett. We can come back here live in the studio, and we can kind of wrap up our broadcast. And the sheriff saying that it was his show. That's interesting to hear. I'm sure the federal officials were not far away, and at a quick call, he could have had some help, but he didn't need it. And he had his agency on the call here today to handle that crowd in Sackets Harbor and the safety of the community and the people that are involved in that, the people that were there in the rally, the people that were going to protest the rally, and Sheriff giving everyone that worked on public safety an A+ with this here today. That's going to wrap up what we got here for you at our digital news desk, Channel 7, bringing you this live here today from Sackets Harbor. Pretty big event for us to want to cover, and we're glad we're able to do that for you. I thank the team here at Channel 7 with Garrett Domblewski and Les Shockley out in the field, as well as Ashley Sebald as running our digital news desk. In our newsroom, we have people out there with Zach Jackson, Aaron Bischoff, Diane Rutherford helping out with what we got for our website, but a lot of people behind the scenes to make this happen. But the 7 News digital news desk being used here today to bring you the events out of Sackets Harbor, the rally, and went as planned, went quietly, and it looks like that everything went really well in terms of the logistics of it and the safety of it, which people were concerned about. I'm sure there's a big sigh of relief on the sheriff here today, as long as it continues that way as people do head back to their cars and continue with their weekend. We will have a 7 News digital newscast tonight at 6 o'clock. We'll have a report on what happened with this event here today. Chad Charette will have that. We'll tell you about the protest and rally in downtown Watertown. And I even started my day in Canton with the ARC Jefferson St. Lawrence Autism Acceptance Walk, and that's going to be part of that story here today. So a lot to cover at 6 o'clock tonight. It's a digital newscast right here on WWNYTV.com. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on Monday.